pressure to fit in is a powerful force on us all throughout our lives. How we look, how we act, what we wear, what we eat, what we buy, what we value, what we pay attention to, what we ignore, who we love, who we hate, how we talk, how we work, how we play. The pressure to fit in, to be liked, to be part of the in-group, to be accepted, we wrestle with these things throughout our lives, don't we? How many times growing up playing with our friends or little siblings did we set the rules and create the script for the games we played? Mothers love to tell stories of the day the little sibling comes running into the house crying, "But I don't want to be the enemy." There's probably more than one of us who still feels the sting of early childhood, experiences of rejection. We don't want to be the enemy. We want to fit in and be liked. There's that old game, Red Rover, let so-and-so come over. What about the student who is not very sporty? Nobody wanted him to come over or to be on their team. In those dances we have, boys and girls lined up on opposite sides of the room. You name it, I bet you have your own experiences of rejection. Times when you so badly wanted to fit in and just be part of the group. Nobody wants to be the enemy, except folks who've been so hurt or abused and bullied themselves that the only role that gives them a sense of power is to become the bully or the enemy, the person who won't let anyone get close. With a little luck and a lot of love, most kids grow through all that and come out more or less okay on the other side. But that pressure to fit in and to be liked is more harsh, and sometimes it just squashes down our uniqueness. Our particular gifts. Sometimes we put a basket over our light, as the Bible puts it, and in the process of fitting in, we hide away the very things that God has given, especially us, to be gifts for others. Sometimes we become our own worst enemy, fighting against the very thing that makes us unique and uniquely placed to do for others and for God. A few years ago, two teenage twin brothers, two young committed Christians, started a blog that became an overnight sensation among their peers. From it, they've written a really interesting book called Do Hard Things. And I think it's important for all of us, whatever the age. Alex and Brett Harris write that, at a time in life when the pressure to fit in is maybe more intense than at any other time, youth give away their gifts and their dreams because they so desperately want to fit in. Their craving to fit in becomes their enemy. Instead, say Alex and Brett Harris, they needed to believe in themselves, trust their dreams, and live them out. They need to push and stretch themselves to do hard things. Listen to the 5 kinds of hard things these two brothers suggest to their peers, ways to use their God-given gifts and stand out from the crowd in good ways. Do things that are outside your comfort zone. Activities like public speaking, learning a new skill, traveling to new places, and meeting new people. Do things that go beyond what is expected or required. These are the things that aren't absolutely necessary, but no one asks of us, like working for an A when we only need a C to pass. Like staying late at work without pay to help your friend finish a job. Like doing household chores that haven't been assigned. Do things that are too big to accomplish alone. Make a film, organize a teen ministry with the homeless, fight poverty or AIDS in Africa. God has placed a passion for these things in our hearts, and we need others to work alongside us to help these kinds of projects succeed. Do things that don't earn immediate payoff. Work out, do your schoolwork, be faithful in your prayer life. These are the things with no immediate payoff, but we do them because they are right. Do Do things that challenge the cultural norm. Share the gospel. Speak up for those who are disliked or sidelined. Be brave enough not to fit in. Dare to live as a Christian. Listen to what one young teen who tried it for herself wrote on her blog. God has been doing amazing things. I laughed when I first read the phrase, do hard things. That's exactly what God began to teach me. God has taken my perspective of my own capabilities and stretched it 3 times around in a new and bigger perspective. I think I've thoroughly shocked my family by doing things that they and I never imagined I'd be doing. It's amazing what we can do if we will trust God enough to step out of our comfort zones. What a witness from a youth about not settling for simply fitting in, but instead pushing themselves to do hard things as a way of sharing what God has put on their hearts and the gifts God has given, becoming fit in the sight of God. Adults can do it too. Have you heard of a woman named Nancy Brinker? Probably not, but I bet you've heard the name of her sister, Susan G. Komen, a name around the world in the campaign to fight breast cancer. Nancy has a book called Promise Me, How a Sister's Love Launched the Global Movement to End Breast Cancer. It tells the story of how Nancy promised her sister, before she died, that she would work to raise awareness about the disease that would soon take her sister's life at the age of 36. We hear it so often now, especially this month of October, the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure in almost every community in 11 countries on our 4 continents. The pink ribbons on almost everything we buy, the pink wristbands, the pins, the t-shirts, all in pink, Susan G. Komen's favorite color. And since Nancy Brinker made that promise to her sister, over $1.9 billion has been raised for breast cancer research and awareness. But when she started her promotion work to honor this promise to her sister, none of this was in the public awareness. It was risky to even say the word cancer just 30 years ago. Brinker said in an interview, "When we did our very first event, there were women who felt reluctant to put their name on the invitation because it had the words breast cancer. Frankly, some of their husbands were uncomfortable with putting their names on it because you didn't use the word breast out loud. You couldn't really say it on TV. You didn't ever see it in print like that, and it wasn't printable in the newspapers." Brinker pressed on anyway, determined to do the hard thing, to fulfill her promise to her sister. When asked by the interviewer about what motives her and keeps her going, she said, "Well, I was young, I was 30 years old, and I thought, oh boy, am I smart. We put a man on the moon in 10 years. This can't be that hard. Ha, that shows how little I knew. This is really going to be a long-term effort, but the more I got into it, the more I wanted to be in it because I kept seeing the need. And I knew it was probably going to take close to 50 years to do what I wanted to do at some point, and I said it can't take that long. I may not be able to live that long, and I want to see measurable gains in my life. I want to see women live reasonable lives with a good quality of life. With this disease, if it progresses, and I want to see people die of old age. That's what I want to see." Nancy Brinker's example reminds us that at whatever age, we all have choices to make between simply fitting in and accepting the way things are, or choosing to use the gifts God has given us to make a difference. And so we pray this day for another fresh start in our lives. This time, not simply to fit in, but to become strong and fit in as we share our gifts with others, in the church and in the world. Together, let us seek to go beyond fitting in, that through our lives, God may fit us for service and for witness. Doing hard things, doing the right thing, always reaching for the sky. What hard thing will you do today, this week, or this lifetime?
Amen.